My plan was always to be fully into equities even when I'm old. That's because maybe my mom herself, she has been an investor in the Singapore stocks market. And she has a lot of this company's shares. It's none other than ST Engineering. For many years, my mom has been always telling me, buy all the S name, Singapore something. Because in Singapore, that's blue chip and that's the easiest way to make money. But I've countered her for many years, telling her that, Mom, you look at share price over here. Please sell a bit and diversify. ST Engineering isn't growing as much as many opportunities out there in the market. And for many years, more than 10, I was right, based on a share price chart, correct? And that's until 2025, where ST Engineering has actually doubled in share price. So, maybe Mama knows best, or tortoise will always win the race kind of concept. So I'm happy for her, but back to the point for today. Do we only need to be in low risk or guarantee instruments when we are old? I get a lot of private client queries. Hey Josh, I'm near my retirement. I'm quite old already. I want to do retirement planning, but I really only want low risk or guarantees. In a lot of ways, that limits the universe of things that we can do. And in many ways, that limits the ideas to those that can barely hold on to inflation. Thankfully, many times I still can reshape that mindset to understand that, hey, your base is very safe already. Equities are not that scary. You are better off diversifying some into there. So today, if you are a retiree or going into retirement, don't worry, you're not alone feeling a bit scared of equity markets. In fact, Schroders had a 2021 global investor study. And this chart actually shows the percentage of people who are willing to put monies into the high-risk instruments versus those that wouldn't. Those that want safe assets are the dark blue right-hand side bar. What we do see is for people who are 18 to 37, almost half are willing to put into high-risk instruments. 38 to 50, that percentage has dropped to 37%. And 51 to 70, where most want to start retirement planning, it's only left with 28% willing to take high-risk investments. And 71 years old and above, that figure drops to only 22%. Why is there an ever-decreasing risk appetite as we age? Could it be because when we all get older, we will all become a bit more fearful because we will have seen or heard or interacted with people who have been burned before? So and so lost their job in the financial crisis and then subsequently lost their family, or couldn't make ends meet, or now is in a very bad state. And we extrapolate that situation onto ourselves and we get fearful and want to protect our monies a lot closer. Or could it be because we ourselves, we have gone through losses, we have been burned before, and we kind of get scared of feeling that pain. It brings me to a story. When I was younger, in primary school days, the monkey bar at the playground? I used to not only swing that, I used to even stand on top of that with my friends. And I even went to do backflips on monkey bars. Really, I'm not joking. When I look back, I think I was a bit crazy then. But I guess that happens to many young boys. And right now today, at 41 years old, I have a torn ligament already. I've had multiple sprains and bruises already. I kind of get scared what will happen if I make a mistake and land on the floor. This kind of fear of pain, whether it's physical or emotional when we lose our money, is very real and it will cause us to be averse to such risks. In the investment world, that is largely called loss aversion, which means having that fun or winning that $10 does not feel the same as the pain of losing $10. The pain will always feel a lot more than the win. So that's why in general, as we age, we get a lot more risk averse to every facet of our life. Or could it be the second point? Financial planning dogma. I work in the financial services industry, and I've been trained that older folks need to assume that they have a lower risk appetite, etc., etc. And maybe that's largely true, because the logic is that when we are all older, we have a reduced time horizon, correct? Which means if market comes crashing down, we may not have 2-3 years to wait until a recovery comes. We may need that money more urgently than someone who is actively working and getting work income. And a second usual financial planning idea is that when we reach older age, we need more stability, income stream stability to help in retirement expenses. Higher risk ideas? What if it loses? And older folk will feel the consequences way more than a 20-year-old fresh graduate. These are usual financial planning parameters, and that's why I think, is it financial planning dogma? Because if we look back at some of our best investors in the world, Bill Ackman, he's about 60 years old now. He's still acquiring companies and doing a lot of high-risk investments. Ray Dalio, he's in his 70s. Stanley Druckenmiller, also in 70s. And speaking frequently on what companies he's investing in. Warren Buffett, he's in his 90s. And he has outright said that he will always believe in equities. So the question, why do all these old heads still buy equities, still buy companies, still make aggressive moves and not buy fixed deposits? I hope to be closer to them. That's why I study them a lot and share what my thoughts are with you. And I have 3 key points in this next segment. Before we get there, help me smash the like button because it helps us reach a bigger audience together. And press on subscribe, especially if you like content like this that helps you think through your own retirement and find the right investment ideas. Thank you so much for your support. And let me show you the first point as to why I'll likely stick with my original plan in being in equities even when I'm older. Which is, I'm conditioned to play to win instead of playing not to lose. Fundamentally, this is very, very different. I play sports, and many a times I'm rewarded when I chase the aggressive winning shot rather than hope that the opponent lose points to me. I've seen the benefits of it, and that's why maybe in investing, I also bring that mindset to it. Playing to win is a lot of times having that abundance mindset, which is we focus on what the gains are rather than worry too much about the loss. But you may be thinking at this moment, Josh, already still think about what kind of gains? You don't need more money, what? I agree with that. But the gains I'm talking is not about making 10, 15% gains. The gains I'm thinking, especially when it comes to older age, are likely towards gaining hope, gaining confidence. These are all positive mindsets. And you know, when we all get old, our confidence is a bit shaken naturally. I hope that being in the markets and having the right wins would always keep my confidence level high and tell me that I can still make good decisions. So what kind of situations will I be investing more? I'm thinking through that many a times right now, I've won when I bought when markets are irrational and selling down. Recently in the April crash, I actually bought 45,000 and I've shared in this previous episode. I've been trained all these years that these are very favorable situations. And if we stay optimistic and confident, we can win. And I shouldn't change that mindset even if I'm older. Let me know in comment sections whether you agree or not. And let's move on to the second key point, which is as I progress to become older, learn to be more selective on what is calculated risk. Right now at 40 years old, at the pink of health, I have a lot of time to read. I can understand the world a lot faster. But when I'm older, I think it's true. Studies have shown mental faculty drop, which means also new information cannot be absorbed so quickly. But never mind actually. And maybe that's why Warren Buffett mentions a lot of time on circle of competence. And maybe it's also why when I interviewed Mr. Jim Rogers in this Georgetown Live episode, you can hop over there and check it out later, he also suggested to buy things you know. Maybe it's because when we are older, learning new things are a bit harder and it may not be worth the effort. And you know, just now we were talking about the Schroders 2021 Global Investor Study. Take note again, 2021, that's after the pandemic, correct? And markets were roaring up already. If you think back at the time, top performers in the markets beating the index like S&P 500 were ideas in biotech such as Moderna, were ideas in electric vehicles such as Tesla and NIO, and were cryptocurrencies which were having a massive bull leg. In that study, it was shown that many were breaking into new higher risk assets for the first time as risk appetite climbed. Fast forward to today, we'll see that biotech ideas and electric vehicle ideas have gone down the drain. I think the lesson over here is that when it comes to calculated risks, these are new industries. Climb fast and might crash fast because it's not battle tested, correct? So the difference is that these investors buying for the first time these hot sectors are chasing outperformance, which in layman terms means you make more than the market. And on the emotional term, it means you have bragging rights. Wow, I can eat 5x and 10x, etc, etc. I think that in older age, maybe such sector risk is not needed. New hot ideas are always filled with sector risks. And knowing this, I think the idea when older is that when market has big crashes, really stick to investment ideas that are familiar so that the calculated risk is measurable. If not, go with broad-based equity risks. At least we know when we are broad-based, the market will always recover. Ties back to something we discussed just now, which is a reduced time horizon, correct? Some of these speculative ideas might take 10, 20 years to finally recover, and we do not want that in a portfolio. We want simple things that will recover, and we just have that wins that we've bought when markets were in panicky mode will do. The third key point I'd like to share with you is to use dividends to build a war chest cash. I thought long and hard. I think this is a very important strategy, and let me share a bit more with you. First, idea of war chest cash, and what exactly is it? War chest cash is cash that you set aside for investments that you don't need on a day-to-day basis for expenses. In a lot of ways, this can be seen like house money. When market comes down and the world is in turmoil, no pressure, because this money again you set aside, you can fire off with much less expectation of results. Again, when it comes to older age, there is no new active income ready, correct? So this war chest cash is the only house money that you can play with. And I'm planning for myself, if I can build 10,000 passive income in dividends, idea is if I keep my expenses to $8,000, I will still have $2,000 funneling into this war chest cash. This $2,000 will keep building up until when there's a market crash, and this is where I go in the market to play to win. And when I do win, of course, this will compound over time, correct? Which I know is counter to the die with zero concept. Die with zero means simply you can't bring money to heaven. Aim for earlier retirement and use the money down to buy all the experience you need. It has its merits also, but I'm thinking, I'm a frugal person by nature. My expenses now, if it inflates to 8,000 in retirement, I actually don't need fancy experiences and spend that money down. I think I'll actually find a lot of joy building money in the market because that has been my game all the while working as an advisor. So if that's my ultimate game, maybe that's where I'll remain in my old age and continue to find that fun and joy over there. War chest cash in retirement to fire at the markets for fun, I think is a new angle that I might present to private clients. And as always, if you're keen to get advice on a fee-based, independent manner, look for my links below. I can help you on a one-to-one basis and solve very thorny questions on finances such as your mortgage and investment portfolio and retirement planning blind spots. These are some raving reviews from private clients that I've worked with already, and I've limited slots every week to take on new cases. So if you think I fit what you're looking for, look for links below again, and thank you for watching right very end. Coming to here, I have this previous video I'd like to introduce to you, which ties into today's topic. What if you put all your retirement cash into equity? I show a solution there also which may be interesting. With that, I'll for me, I'll see you there. Take care as always. Goodbye.